Welcome one and all to this first episode of Series 3 for D&D, which stands for Daddy and Daughter. I am Daddy, Mike, and this is Zoe.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we're going to start a new project after a fairly long break because of the game I released.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've already decided what to do, right? Which is going to be a top-down adventure game, sort of Zelda style. So that should be fairly fun to do. We're also going to have a basic saving system this time for the first time, which is something you have never seen. We're going to use player prefs for that, I think. So let's go ahead and create the project. It's going to be 3D, even though it actually will behave like a 2D game, basically.
Oh, so you deleted?
I deleted everything we had quickly tried, yes. So we're going to start from scratch. Off we go. Create project. Dun, dun, dun. And now we wait.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot we can do about this. So we're going to start with a player controller today. Well, at least the basics of it.
Okay.
And we're going to give our player a hand and a sword or something like that.
Okay.
And he's going to be able to swing that sword and move about. And should we give him some kind of jump too?
Why would you need to jump in a top-down game?
I don't know. In the old GTAs you could jump. It could be useful to go over chasms or something, assuming we design anything like that. We'll see. Okay. So here's our game. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. And let's switch to ISO right away.
Yeah.
It's not really ISO, but whatever. It's ortho. Okay, so we said the camera needs to be top down. We'll worry about that very soon. As soon as we got a player in place. So here you go. Here's the controls. So let's go ahead and create, right click in the scene, create an empty, call it world, capital W. Yeah, hit enter.
Reset the position?
Yes. Reset the transform. Now right click on it and create a ground of some sort. All this is going to change later, but yeah, a plane is probably good. Quad may be good too. Yeah, call this one ground. Rename it. Let's give it a material. For that we're going to need materials. So, by the way, let's rename this sample scene to main. Hit enter. Okay. Now let's create a new folder, which you can call materials. Capital M.
Oops.
Materials. And now create a new folder, which we're going to call models. Let's just prepare a few folders.
Don't forget scripts.
I won't forget scripts. Okay. That may be sufficient for now, but anyway, inside materials, we wanted to create a new material and rename it to ground or something. Call it grass, actually. Grass.
And color it green.
Yeah, so we're going to give grass to this guy, change the color, green, some dark green. There we go. Basic, you know. We're going to make the art later. For now, not a problem. Okay, so we got the grass going here. And now let's create a new character, which you can create right here.
Okay.
Make a
cube again?
Cube or whatever. Yeah. It really depends. Do you think the game should be omnidirectional, like 360, or should it be just 4 directions, like The Binding of Isaac? Well, you can kind of move in every direction, but you only aim in 4 directions. Otherwise, we can make it 360.
Let's make it move in like 4 directions, like with The Binding of Isaac.
That's just for the hitting. This means that the sword will only be able to swing in 4 directions.
Oh, then no.
Okay, then change the 3D. Just delete the cube first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and create a sphere.
A little bit clumsy here.
3D sphere. Okay, reset the transfer. Here, name that to player. And now that I think about it, that's a bad idea anyway. Duplicate the player real quick before you do anything else. Duplicate it. Yeah, drag it inside itself.
This is the model.
Yeah, model. Drag it inside itself.
There.
Okay, now from the model, remove the sphere collider. What's your problem with the mouse now?
It's very low sensitive and I don't have much room to move it.
Rubbish.
But I
Okay.
can't do this without having to bend my elbow.
Okay. Yeah, so remove the sphere collider. Okay. Now back to your player. Not the model, the player. Remove the mesh renderer and the mesh filter. Yeah. We don't need any of those. Those only go on the graphics, right? The sphere collider, sure. That's fine. Okay, reset the transform on this thing. Now you can clearly see the body is half inside, so let's
Yeah.
move the graphics up and the collider up too.
So just the player?
No, just don't move the player. Leave the player alone. At 0 is fine. But move the center of the radius of the circle of the sphere
This?
up. No, on the collider.
Oh.
Where's the collider?
Around it?
No, you can't move the collider like
Oops.
that. It's a component.
So,
Yeah. It's always been a component. Move the collider up by 0.5. Hit enter. Now move the model up by 0.5. Okay, good work. This is my daughter Zoe. We do a series together called D&D. Sorry, I'm responding to chat here because we're also streaming. Okay, so now we have the little player. That's good. Now we need a script for him. So let's go to the scripts folder and create a script.
scripts. Why is it still called main?
What's called main?
This.
The scene, you called it main.
Did I?
Yes.
When?
It used to be called sample scene. You renamed it to main. You did that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Go
don't
into
remember
scripts.
doing it. Anyway, scripts.
Create.
Oops, not open.
That's fine.
Sorry.
It won't do anything. So no, leave it. Just minimize it. Yeah. Now create a script.
This time, for real.
Yes.
Here's
and
a
call it
script.
player with a capital P. Hit enter. Okay, drag it onto the player. Wait, it's compiling. Drag it onto the player. It's fine now. Yep. Now double click it. Alright. Ignore. It's fine. Alright, so here we go. Usual stuff. Oh, model behavior is not highlighted. That's weird. Wait a moment. That's abnormal. Save.
Yes.
Let's open it again. I suspect.
It's because I opened it too early.
Yeah, I think so. So Unity's library isn't being picked up.
Yes.
That's better. Okay, so we don't need start for now. And we do need update. All right. Okay, sounds good. Now, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check the inputs, right? So last time we did it with arrow keys, but I don't think we want the arrow keys anymore. And the reason why that is because we may be using a controller to move. So in that case, we need to reach the horizontal and vertical axes. Now, these are found here under edit. I need to wait for it to compile. Edit project settings. Ooh, that's different. Okay, input. And it's got axes. And then inside it, you've got the horizontal and the vertical axis. Okay, they're called vertical, horizontal. You need to remember these words.
Vertical, horizontal.
Yeah, with capitals. All right.
With capitals.
So input. You forgot if.
Oops.
That's gonna be slower.
Double oops.
That's gonna be way slower. Just type if. Open round input dot get axis raw. There it is. One down. Open round. Name of the axis.
So.
Quote.
Horizontal.
Horizontal with a capital H. Close the quote. Close 2 rounds. Well, no, actually close the round. Now that I think about it, what if what? No, we need to map it. All right. So create a private vector 2. Call it raw input. No, lowercase, it's a variable.
Yeah.
Semicolon. Save. Okay, copy this. Paste it here and go equals new vector 2. Open round. And now cut this. Put it here, comma, space, paste, change this to vertical, close round again, semicolon, save. We can remove this if, okay, save. So we got the raw input stored. Now there will be a bit of a problem. And that problem is a very old, ancient problem in games, which happens whenever you deal with axes.
Okay.
So the issue here is that I'm showing her on a 360 controller now visually. So if you move the stick all the way to the right, you're going to get an input of 1, 0.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up, you're going to get an input of 0, 1. But if you go diagonal for both, what are you going to get?
Something in the middle?
No. You're going to get maximum for X and maximum for Y, which is 1 and 1. So you're going to get 1, 1. The problem is that the distance, this is physically a circle, correct?
Yeah.
Right. But it's mapped to a square.
Oh.
So if this is a 1 and this is a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
The diagonal...
Is it 2?
No. It's 1.4 something, 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 something.
Oh.
Yes. You need to imagine the triangle, right? So if this is 1 and this is 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to use Pythagoras, which you haven't done yet, but anyway, it is the square of 1 plus the square of 2 of the other one, also 1. So 1 plus 1, okay, equals the square of the diagonal, the length of the diagonal.
Oh.
Yeah. So in this case, it would be square root of 2 we want. And the square root of 2 is 1.4 something, something, something. So calculator. So 2 square root 1.414. And it goes on for a very long time. Okay, so this is a longer distance than the maximum distance on the side. That's a problem. This means we need to keep the direction of the vector, but not the magnitude.
Okay.
There is a magical, beautiful function that allows us to always have the magnitude of 1, meaning we only keep the direction. Dot normalized.
Okay.
So you're getting the normalized version of the raw input.
Okay.
Which is rather nice. All right. That's for the direction. I mean, we don't want this in this right now, but I'm saying this is what we will need later when we move our character.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's give our character a speed. So make this a serialized field, private. I forgot square bracket. Serialized field. Just hit tab. Okay, close the square bracket, private, float, speed. Maybe we should be more specific. Call this one, hit Control R twice. Now type
Why?
running.
There's only one.
I know. I don't know habit. Running speed. Give it an equal. Hit enter first. Then space equals.
Don't rename it to that.
Don't know. 1F. Save. Okay. Now we're gonna do things a bit more advanced now compared to what we've done before. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put everything in update. We're now gonna start putting things in fixed update. So create a fixed update method. So void fixed update. There it is. Hit tab. Okay. No need for private. Save. Now inside fixed update, we will check if the raw input is different. So we're gonna say if raw input dot magnitude. Sure, there it is higher than 0.1F. That's lower. Higher than 0.1F. Close the round, open a squiggle, hit enter twice, close, save. Okay, so if we have an input of any kind, because remember many controllers are a bit broken, so you need to give them a bit of a dead zone. Right? If the controller is like our Mr. Dude, our Mr. Dude is too badly broken for us to do anything about it, but most controllers are a bit off. They're not in the center. See, this one is here, but if I shift it just a bit, it's in a different position, right? So you need to give it a bit of slack. That's the slack. All right. Now, so if it's higher than 10%, we're gonna begin moving. So to move, we are gonna say shall we do it? Let's do it with rigid bodies. We're gonna use the velocity of the rigid body, which means we need a rigid body on our player. Fairly easy. You should know how to do this. Type R. There it is. So we can now have a rigid body. Let's also move the player script all the way at the top.
Do you like it that way?
Yep. So mass doesn't really matter to us. We're only gonna be manipulating velocities directly. So basically none of this matters other than freeze position on the Z and freeze rotation on the X and rotation on the Z. Right, so we'll only be able to rotate on the Y axis.
Okay.
Okay. Plus all of our movement. I think we're gonna make it twin stick or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so you move with the left stick and then you aim with the right stick. And in order to hit your sword, maybe you can just flick it in a direction. We'll see. We'll make decisions, right? Or maybe you hold in a direction, you press the bumper.
Mm-hmm.
We'll decide something. I don't know yet. Okay. So if the raw input is higher than that, we need access to the rigid body, don't we? All right. So at that point, let's create a void start. There it is.
Oops.
Yeah, he does a few smart things for you. Save. So we're gonna need a private rigid body RB. RB. Semicolon. And here is simply gonna say RB equals get component rigid body. There it is. No, wrong bracket.
This bracket.
And then two
And then
rows.
these brackets and then this.
Save. Okay, so here you're gonna say RB dot velocity equals, and it's going to be equal to raw input dot normalized times
time
dot fixed delta time
fixed because it's in fixed update.
Yeah. Times
Speed.
running speed. Semicolon. Save. Alright. So this should just move the thing. I just remembered we're also going to be affected by gravity. Don't be affected by gravity.
Otherwise, right through the plane.
Yeah, through the plane, right? Also, the camera we said, right? So the camera needs to be a child of the player. Okay? So main camera, child of the player. And put it at 0. And now put it at 10. And now rotate it 90. Now it's staring down at the player.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's see. I've got a controller in my hands. Okay, so some stuff is happening. Not very much though. But I can see it's moving. I'm confused as to why it would be
Are
this.
you moving there?
Yeah, I moved it a little bit. Let's try is kinematic. Should allow us to move. I'm wondering if freeze position. Oh, I'm an idiot. Freeze position should be Y, not Z. And let's see a speed of 10. Okay, so stuff isn't working properly. We'll find out why very soon. Let me see here if we got anything wrong. So, yeah, I can't, nothing seems to be changing while we move. So let's make sure we check here what the situation with the raw input is. So debug.log raw input. So we're gonna check that that's working first. And RB velocity, raw input, normalized, time fixed, delta time, running speed, that's good. Now let's quickly modify the rigid body so that the freeze position isn't a Z, because that's silly. Right, we need to move up and down for sure. And it's Y though. And the freeze rotation, that should be correct. Let's give this a shot again. So now, okay, yes, so my raw input is working. Okay, so that's good. So the only possibility is that the magnitude isn't higher than this. So let's go dot magnitude. There's other options, right? We'll find out what happens. Okay, no, it's working. The magnitude is 1. Normalize should work. Time dot fixed delta time, running speed. So we're definitely going through all of this. RB dot velocity. RB dot velocity. That's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember many things.
Starting with a bug. Ooh.
Yeah, well, an annoying bug too. Yeah, so the velocity is always set to 0, 0, 0, 0.
I think it is moving.
Yeah, I can see that.
By a very small amount, though.
Yeah, I can see that. So it's not moving right and left for now. And it's also not stopping. Yeah, that makes sense. Because of the
How do you make it
the
stop?
dead zone. But it's not going up and down. That makes sense too. Alright, so quite a bit makes sense. The speed is surprising me a little. Why in the world would it need to be this large? I don't know. Let's go with it for now. And plus this is too slow anyway. Yeah, but 100 surprises me. Wait a moment. So let's leave it at 100 and now let's try and move it. -2. -2 and +2. Well, wait a moment. That makes perfect sense. Normalize this is 0.02 multiplied by 100. So that makes sense. The fact that we're changing the velocity and not moving it over time should allow us to remove the fixed delta time. So now if we go back to 1, we're going to get something fairly similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You're going to get half of it. So change the speed to 3 or something. That's the first thing. Now the second thing is we can get rid of this and we need to do some fixes, right? So if the raw input magnitude is lower than that, what should happen to the RB velocity?
It should not move.
Should be 0, right? So go else. Open squiggly. Hit enter twice. And save. And RB dot velocity equals vector 3.0. It's already there. Dot 0. No, the word 0.
Sorry.
Semicolon. Save. Okay, so the issue, what's happening here is that the vector is mapped to x and y. But the problem is our game is mapped to x and z. So that's why we're not moving up. Okay? Now, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to change this by where we're going to need to make some decisions. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to put a vector 3 over here, vector 3 over here, and then we're simply going to say 0 on the y. Okay? So that way we got a vector 3 and everything should immediately work.
And that's why we should be able to go off. Can I try?
Sure, if it makes you happy.
Let's see. Yep, we can go off.
Yeah, it's working.
We can dump ourselves off the screen as well.
No, you can't fall or anything.
Because it's not gravity.
But wait, something's interesting.
What?
Stand still.
Yes.
Okay, so you're affecting the floor is rotating. Mildly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Either the floor or yourself, actually. Wait a moment. So just move a bit.
Yep.
Stop. Your rotation is changing. So you must be producing a little bit of torque. We're gonna freeze the rotation here. Problem. Well, if we freeze the rotation ourselves, well, I mean, what we could do is make it kinematic, but I don't think this is gonna be great because we need to have the ability to collide into walls. So we should probably leave this here and tell the rotation what it's equal. And to do that, we're going to have to immediately create the whole pointing system. Okay? So let's create a sword for our character.
Okay.
So create empty. That's why I don't want you to use the controller. We waste time that way.
You're right.
Go ahead, create empty.
Call it
this
sword.
one sword. Well, sword holder or something. No spaces.
Yeah.
I know the main camera has a space. Okay, hit enter. Now create a model inside of it. .3D object. Cube. Now...
It's a big cube.
No, yes, correct model. Or sword, even better. Yeah, let's call it sword. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do with this sword is we need to put it forward compared to us. Right? So this is our forward now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sort of drag it here, then drag it here.
Make it a little bit smaller.
That's right. So
because it does not look like a sword.
0.1 over here. Okay. There's a little sword. Maybe we're gonna make it a little shorter here too. And there we go. Wherever the sword points, that's where we're going. Or something like that. Okay. We may then change the position and the rotation.
Will it move with the player?
Yes. It's a child of the player.
Yeah.
Okay, so 0.5 is a good place. 1 is a good place. And yeah, that's pretty good. So it needs to have a box collider. It needs to have a rigid body. Mesh renderers, sure. I think the graphics should be again separated. So let's duplicate the sword again. Call this one model.
Okay.
Just as we did before. Remove this. Remove this. And on the sword, remove the aesthetics.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. So now we got a little sword. And we'll be able to swing it. Well, first of all, we're going to use it to point in the direction we're going.
Okay.
Okay.
Because if we turn, it will still be pointing forward.
Yes. So let me think this through. Now, in order to do that, our sword holder is going to have to be rotated. Okay. So let's create a private reference. So private. And this is going to be a transform. Private transform. Capital T. Yeah. Oh, wait a moment though. I just thought of something. Yeah, the sword needs to be rotating based on the player. Okay, forget the sword for a moment. We're just have it there to point the direction. Save. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate the player himself.
Okay.
Okay, now this is raw input. Let's rename this one. Control R twice. Call it raw movement input. Hit enter. Okay, now copy this. Paste it underneath itself. Paste it.
Sorry, press
Copy.
Control B.
Paste. And call this one rotation. Capital R. Save. Undo. Save. Okay, now copy this. Paste it here. Copy this. Paste it here. Save. Now we need to check because this is going to be a bit different. So again, we're going to go to edit as soon as it's done compiling. Project settings, input, and you've got is it mouse X? No. Horizontal, vertical. Apparently they don't have one, which is a bit surprising. Alright, so we're gonna create two. Well, we're gonna just duplicate this one. Can we move it down? No, we can't. Alright, duplicate this one. So this horizontal, we're gonna name this one view horizontal. EW, save. Now I don't remember the axis, so we're gonna have to look into it. And this one, view vertical. Yeah, or look or something. Anyway, save. So this one, we need to go to Unity. Look for Unity 360 controller axes. Axes, AXES. Sure, that'll do. That's the singular version. Hey Irish John, what's up? We're doing a show with my daughter here, so she's here. No, we're not gonna go in the forum. Oh, finally. Okay, so right analog stick, it's the 4th and 5th axes.
Okay.
4th and the 5th axis. Okay, so let's go back to here and call this one view horizontal and this one view vertical. Yeah, save. And what we're gonna do is we are going to change this from the x-axis to the 4th axis and this to the 5th axis, I believe. Let's check one more time. Yeah. So right analog. Okay, that's good. Save. And save here as well.
Sorry. That was A.
Okay, now we got row rotation input and row movement input. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna tell us where to stare. Okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna say transform IRANSForm. IRANSForm. It's an Irish thing, don't do that. Transform. There's a lot of bloodshed. Transform dot look rotation. My bad. Dot rotation. Rotation. Potation. Yeah. Dude, can you focus? Thanks. Rotation. It's lowercase, by the way. Rotation.
At least.
Because you make it uppercase, now it's harder to figure out which one we want. Yeah. Okay. Equals. Quaternion. Quaternion. Dot. Look rotation should be. There it is. Hit tab. Open round. Now look, it wants a vector 3. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it the current position. So we're gonna say wait a moment. Is it the direction it wants? Yes, it wants a forward. So let's give it row rotation input.
Okay.
Row row rotation input. Row. There it is. Hit tab.
Oh, I didn't understand.
Okay. Row rotation input minus two minuses minus transform dot position. Yeah, now it's not going to be happy because you need to do this. So, oh wait, can we do transform? Not sure. Okay, copy this. Paste it here. This is stupid. What I'm doing is demented. Wait, I need to think it through. Alright, so row rotation input compared to where we are now. That's the problem. And it needs to be right. So do transform dot position here. Plus, I have a bad feeling about this. Close the round bracket, semicolon. A very bad feeling about this.
Oh.
Yep. We've done this many times in previous projects. Oh, hello.
That bad feeling came true.
Sure. No, but that's another problem. So the sword needs to freeze everything. Yeah. Don't use gravity. You're basically kinematic. Yeah. Okay.
Why is the place rotating?
Hmm?
Why is the screen rotating?
The screen?
This.
I'm not sure.
See? It's spinning around.
Yeah, it looks like the wrong axis is being picked up. The other axis isn't doing anything, which is peculiar. Yeah, so up is going down, down is going up, left, right. It looks like because... Yeah, right, so this is actually rotating when it's not supposed to. So we're gonna add exactly the same condition as before, but that wasn't good enough anyway. So not row movement, but row rotation. So the row rotation input dot magnitude also needs to be higher than 1. So let's at least check that this thing is working now.
Okay.
I feel rusty. Okay, so this is working, but my right stick isn't producing any effect. And now I don't know why. There's many possible reasons.
Right stick rotates.
well, in theory. Debug, clearly not doing anything at the moment. Dot log, open round, row rotation input. So view horizontal and view vertical. Let's see if at least this exists, right?
Mhm.
Okay. No. See, the stick is not getting picked up. Well, so that was not expected. I know that Unity have been messing about with the with these axes a lot. So first of all, let's remove all of these now that I think about it. None of these are needed. Gravity, sure, whatever. Key or mouse button, joystick axis. Why in the bloody world? Whatever. So fourth axis joysticks. It could be that this axis is wrong. Could be that it's wrong. It could be that this information is for other things. Mac, yeah, Mac is different. Okay, let's take a look at the official. All right, that's much better. Axes.
Huh?
The axes, guys. This is a professionally run company that doesn't know how to spell the plural of the word axis.
How is it spelled?
Axes with an E, that's it.
Oh.
Axes. Axes. Oh boy. All right, so on Windows, theoretically, it should be 4 and 5. Not working for me, is it? Row rotation input. That one's supposed to be happening. This one is also supposed to be happening, and it's not. View vertical, view horizontal. We've made a few changes, but I don't know. I'm really not sure why it's not picking it up. Yep, no, completely ignores it, like it's not there. Now, let me check that the controller I've got is actually plugged in. Yes, because I moved. So it's got to be possible. What is this horizontal and vertical? Oh, I see what's happening.
Huh?
Delete, delete, and duplicate this one, and duplicate this one. Rename this one to view horizontal with a view. Yeah, that's enough. And this one, view, with all capitals though, much better.
Pressed caps lock instead
of shift.
Shift.
Shift. Save. Now we're gonna change the fourth axis and fifth axis. Save. Now this I think is going to work. Now the bad feeling I have may or may not manifest itself. Okay, so it's working. What's the problem? The camera is rotating with us.
Yeah.
Right, so it looks like the planet is rotating, but it's just the camera that's a child of ours is constantly doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we must at this point unparent the cam. Well, that's one option. Unparent the main camera from the player, like so. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a script for the camera, so that the camera is consistently following the player and that's it. Okay, so create, call it camera manager. Hit enter. Now we gotta wait for it to compile real quick. Now we can open it. We're gonna create something incredibly simple. So type void late update. There it is, hit tab.
This update, that update.
Oh yeah, this update is the one that happens last and it's perfect for camera use. So go serialized field, private.
Well, I meant we did fixed update, and we did update, and we did so many different kinds of update.
Serialized field. You make sure that you spell every single letter, okay? Close the square bracket, private, transform target.
Oops.
Save.
Ah.
Save. Transform dot position. Every one letter equals target dot position, and then I forgot something. Target dot position plus, and now stop here. Do another serialized field. Private float. Call this one distance. Semicolon. Save. Copy. Go vector 3 dot up. Times distance. So we're going up by whatever the distance. Semicolon. Give it an equals of 10f. Save. Okay, 10f. Now the main camera. I can't stand that space. It's driving me mental. There you go. Camera manager. Pop. There we go. And now it's gonna put the camera up like that, but it needs a target. The target is gonna be the player. Easy.
Is it?
Not exactly. So stuff isn't working very well when it comes to this. It's interesting to see that it's pointing more or less in the right direction.
Did you make
1 minus 1. What?
Did you make it like have a span of this?
No, I didn't do any particular spans. I just told it stare in that particular direction. And
But can it still go behind you?
not at the moment, which is odd. I don't know if it depends. Yeah, it depends on my position. So something is off. Okay. So transform dot rotation with her look rotation. Transform dot position. Plus row rotation input. That's very odd. It should work. Yeah. So should be up. So suppose we're holding left. It should go left. So we're rotating a little player in a certain direction. But why is it facing there? Because these are all objective things. So this is rotation, not local. This is position, not local. Plus row rotation input. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little target object to test this. Man, I'm rusty. I haven't done this in ages and it shows. So let's create a little sphere. Something.
Okay.
Right. So it's now here. It's fairly big. We're gonna make it much smaller.
It looks like a tank now.
Okay. There's a little sphere over here. We're gonna place it at 0.5 and 0. Okay. And what we're gonna say is let's call it target. Okay. And let's create a private transform.
Not tracked reference.
Not tracked reference. Transform target.
What's tracked reference?
Don't know. target equals transform dot find target. All right, and now we're gonna say target dot position equals, and we're gonna say try for the position plus rotation input times 2 or something. Let's make this normalized. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening with this target. Okay, so you see the target's working perfectly fine?
Yes.
But our rotation's going mental. Right?
You're right.
So I'm not really sure why that's
That
happening.
must... Is the sword supposed to follow the target?
Yes, well the player is supposed to rotate in that direction. But the player isn't rotating in that direction, which is a bit odd. And then it stands still. Yeah, everything is more or less working okay, right? So it's not perfect, but it's fine. It's kind of jittery as well. And one of the reasons why it's jittery is because the player is rotating like crazy. I'd prefer for the player not to rotate. So let's see, what else can we rotate? We can rotate the target and the model, right? And the sword holder and the model. So everything. Let's create a child here. Rename this one to graphics. Or structure, that's better, structure. Yeah, hit enter. Shift. And no release. Drag them all in. Okay, so they're all children now. Okay. So model, whatever, etc. Actually, wait a moment. We're gonna give the structure a 0.5 here, and then the model is gonna be at 0. The sword holder can stay here, but the sword needs to go at 0, and the target needs to be 0. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we need to account for this. Let's create another private transform. Yeah. Structure. Semicolon. Copy. Paste. Equals. Copy. Paste. Structure with a capital T. Save. Copy this. Paste it here. Save. Now let's create another one for model. So private transform model. Model. Actually, wait. We don't need to rotate the model. We'll be rotating the structure. Save. Okay, so copy transform again. Put it here. Save. And now what we're going to do is, instead of having this as part of the structure, the target's going to be outside. Yes. Okay, that sounds good. Now, structure, blah, 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 transform, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now this, instead of transform dot rotation, type structure dot rotation. And actually we're going to change it to, we're going to say structure look at. Yeah, and now open round target. Close round semicolon. Save. Right, so the entire structure is going to look at where the target has been moved.
Okay.
So let's take a look. That's why I separated them. Okay, it's working much better now. It's also less jittery. But I can see something from the shadow.
What?
Because the target is positioned at 0, we're now staring at the ground.
He looks like a little penguin with a beak sticking out.
Yeah, so add vector 3 dot up times 0.5. dot up times 0.5. 0.5 f. Save. Okay, now this should work correctly. And then what we're gonna do, last thing before we go today, yeah, now it's good. Okay, now last thing we'll do is we'll add some walls and see if, or just one wall, and see if it works as I expected. Okay, so let's go
Like the person goes through it.
well, they should save. All right. Now let's, in the world, right? In the world we've got a ground. Let's create an empty. Create walls. Walls. Save. Yeah, I mean enter. And save. And now let's just create a 3D object cube. Move it to over here. And then up here. So 0.5
And
5, whatever, doesn't much matter. Let's give it a rigid body. It's definitely gonna be kinematic. Okay, so it's a wall.
make it much bigger.
That's fine, it can be like that. We just need to check if the collisions are working.
Oh,
That's it.
yeah.
Right, so now if we walk into it, it stops us. Okay, so one interesting thing is,
The sword goes through.
yeah, our thing is going completely mental, and the reason why this is happening is because the sword itself, which has a rigid body, is going nuts. It obtains a rotation. So let's freeze everything here.
Huh? It's kind of funny.
It's funny, but
It's wrong.
it's not what we want.
It's still super funny.
Wait, does the target have... the target has a collider. We're gonna definitely remove this. This could be one of the things, but it doesn't have a rigid body, so it shouldn't have started like flying around like crazy. It's kinematic. It should be. Like, ignore everything, buddy. Uh-oh. Nope, it just goes like, I don't care, man. So, when I hold it, and then it starts rotating. What's rotating? Okay, I have a suspicion. Thought so. It's our player. It's our player. So the sword holder, the sword was just fine with being kinematic. That was sufficient. Plus, I don't know if we can keep it kinematic. We'll worry about that later. Okay, finally. So the sword gets ignored. That's fine. Right? That's okay. We're not going to do anything particularly clever. We're just going to make it so that if there's a sword in the wall, you know, you can't. Nothing happens.
It's like butter.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we may not necessarily keep the position of the sword that way. Because remember that the sword is here, sure, but it has a model that's here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we swing it, right, we may have just a simple animation or something
Okay.
that will move the model. But you could technically rotate rotate the model, you know. No, which axis? What in the world is happening? This is so weird. What? Excuse me, sir, but could you what?
Circle rotation.
I have never seen this. I have no idea what's happening, but that very definitely does not look like a cube to me anymore. What?
Should I undo? Should I?
Wait.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so that's working. I'm very confused by... What in the world? Is it trying to fit? I've never seen this. Maybe it's a new Unity thing, but perhaps it's just trying to fit the rigid body? I don't know. That's odd. Anyway, you can rotate the sword. Right?
Yeah.
And so when the little character walks about, There.
With
see?
a bent sword.
It's not bent. It's just sheathed or something, right? And then you can pull it out and go. Swah. If we press the right bumper or something.
Like Link.
There we go. Doink. Stuck. Now, let's see. The speed of the player I'm not too happy about. There. That's better. 5. Okay. Here we go. So that's the beginning of our adventure game. Seems to be working okay. And I guess we'll conclude it here. Say bye-bye to everyone from YouTube.
Bye,
We'll see you
everyone.
again
See you
later.
again
Bye-bye.
next episode. Bye.